Hi everyone, this is Magdalene Rose with the Rose Report, and tonight I want to talk to you about this idea in the conservative world right now that we can just do whatever we want and compromise as many things as conservative voters voted for as possible, and it will all just be fine because eventually President Trump will undo them when he wins. This is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous notion. This omnibus bill that passed the House, that President Trump will probably be signing today, is a disgrace. It gives hundreds of millions of dollars more to the EPA while doing no funding increase for ICE. Now the entire EPA budget is $9 billion, much more than the entire budget of ICE. It is a bill that funds Planned Parenthood, that does not defund sanctuary cities, that gives $25 million to the CDC to conduct research on gun violence, which we all know those studies will be used as cannon fodder in the social media and digital world to push more gun control measures, especially with young people, if Democrats ever regain the presidency or the Senate and House. It is a ridiculous nonsense bill, but it's happening, and President Trump is going to sign it because Republican strategists believe that there is nothing they cannot do, that President Trump then cannot undo. Well, what if he loses? What if he loses and you have allowed in no funding for ICE? You have increased nothing that we needed increased in Homeland Security. You have given more and more money to a radical Democrat Party that wants to fundamentally change the policy structure of America. What if that happens? You have no solutions because right now DC is filled with grifter yes men who tell the president anything he wants to hear and never tell him the truth, which is that raising the age to buy tobacco products to 21 is stupid and wrong. It doesn't make any sense, especially because you can't get drunk off of tobacco. It doesn't impede you from operating heavy machinery in the same way alcohol does. It's a state's issue. If the people of New York someday decide nobody should be allowed to buy tobacco products until they're 35, that's their right as the people of New York. It's not the right of the federal government to decide one Friday that they're going to decide what the federal age to buy tobacco products is. So now someone can go and fight and die for their country, but they can't have a cigarette. This is what goes on right now. And I'm really tired of the Republican Party thinking that we'll just cut as many corners, we'll do whatever we want because eventually Trump will be reelected, we'll have the Senate again, and we'll undo it. You won't undo it because if you couldn't get your stuff together in the 2 years where you had control of everything, pretty much including the Supreme Court, why would you be able to do it when you have less of a fighter in the White House or any version of a divided government? It's a lie. And the Republican Party is extraordinarily lucky that the impeachment happened. They're extraordinarily lucky that Nancy Pelosi did this because let me tell you, if she hadn't, the entire conservative world would be talking about this swamp garbage spending bill that President Trump is going to sign. But they're not because they're distracted by the impeachment. So Mitch McConnell and all of the Republicans, with the exception of Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, who seem to be the only people that care, are very, very lucky impeachment is happening and probably know that and probably are keeping the eye and the ball on that in the conservative media world because they don't want you to remember that President Trump said he wasn't going to sign another omnibus bill and now has been pressured by DC and the swamp to do it again. It's a ridiculous turn of events, and I wonder how much longer the conservative world will labor into the delusion, and it is a delusion, that they can just keep doing whatever they want with no regards for the voters that voted them in terms of policies, because at some point, Republican and conservative voters will realize how little the Republicans have delivered for them in the Senate and the House, and will start to ask questions like, maybe we need a more severe party, maybe we need to primary out some rhinos, and nobody wants that less than the Republican establishment and Mitch McConnell. Thank you, everyone. I hope you understand that this omnibus bill is ridiculous. It should not be signed. We should get a temporary CR to fund the government, and maybe, just maybe, the public servants, the public politicians' servants, should actually have to serve the public, come back to DC, which is very interesting how they just have a huge impeachment and then get to leave and not address anything. Maybe they should come back to DC, debate these issues for a bill that is 2,313 pages long and was given to politicians 2 days ago, which no one has read, and actually try to solve these issues, because at the end of the day, Conservatives got nothing in this bill except two things that they would have already gotten before with removing a tax for Obamacare and preserving coal miner pensions, which, by the way, with coal miner pensions, these pensions could have been secured at any point because no Democrat in an election season wants to risk upsetting coal miners in the Rust Belt. So that could have been solved anyway, and those Obama taxes were already heavily debated. Republicans should understand that the Democrat caucus released a glowing assessment of the spending bill, including a glowing fact sheet. So that's where we are now. Democrats release glowing spending bill fact sheets when we have a Republican president and a Republican Senate. It's ridiculous. It's a disgrace. And this omnibus bill is the kind of thing that people won't think will matter in 2020, but it will matter with a lot of Republicans who are up for re-election in the Senate. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day and Merry Christmas.